Welcome to the channel. This is Patrick, and today we've got a live trade for you I want to share with you. So I'll quickly walk through my setup and what I'm seeing and why I took this trade. So we are on the Euro USD. It's been on an uptrend recently and it's hit some key areas overnight. So it stopped around here, right? So now I'm looking for price actually to come down to this demand section and take a buy to continue the uptrend. But on the London session open here, I saw price just stagnating here for a long time. So remember, I want it to come down to here so I could buy it to continue up. So what I shouldn't do is exactly what I did. I got into the position here on the sell to ride it down. The way it's just sitting around generating liquidity underneath here, I believed it was just gonna definitely come down here, take out anyone that's underneath here waiting for buyers who got into early, because I do believe it's gonna come down here and take the buy. The buy should be from this zone here, this unused demand. So I've been sitting around for about an hour, gotten a bit impatient, so I decided to get into a position to ride this down. Initially, I wanted to get in around here, so at 64.3, and I would have been able to scalp a small 6 pip move, not much, but that's $60 with one standard lot. And that's what I wanted to do, but I've done that in the past and it hasn't worked out because essentially I am buying in a demand zone. So I'm selling in a demand zone, and you don't want to be a seller in demand. So that's what I shouldn't have done, but I've been sitting around on my hands for about an hour, getting impatient, very confident that this is going to come down to this demand. So I decided to jump in. So I'm just waiting it out now to see how it works out. Thankfully, now that we're on a new hour, prices started to move and hopefully just go straight down to this demand that we're looking for. Now, in terms of confluence, I look at a similar pair. So GU is doing the same thing, just dancing around this demand here. So it was going to generate liquidity here and eventually push down to this demand and get bought up and go back up potentially. And then same with USD CHF. So this has put in a reversal pattern. So essentially, I expect this to go up, right? So it'll probably go up, hit the supply and slow it down. So it takes out everyone here, hit the supply, then potentially come back down, which with Euro USD CHF and Euro USD, they move in opposite directions quite often. They're correlated, well correlated. So I always use these two to gauge whether I'm moving in the right direction. So something I tend to play around with. So, and then the fourth here is USD JPY. These are the four big guys here, the majors. You can see USD JPY has been selling off. Yeah, and it's got under this low here. So this is a great discount for any buyers. So I expect this to start coming up, potentially take all these guys out, but we don't know. There's news, a lot of news out today, so we're going to see how that plays out. But for this morning, I expect this to continue buying up. So if that does come up, comes up into this supply, maybe it slows down here and then pulls back down. So if this is coming up, that means this is coming up. And if that's coming up, that means this is coming down. So that's how I've played it. So far, it's now moving in my direction. I'm going to try to sit tight a little bit. I may get impatient because I'm not meant to be in this move. I do want to see this get underneath 53.9, and then I'll try to exit before it gets into this smaller demand here, because it could turn around here, or it could run all the way down to this main one, which is where I would prefer to take a buy from. So I'm targeting that zone to fill this imbalance here. So normally I would buy at demand and I would sell at supply. But as you can see, there is a pattern here, strong pattern here of a downtrend. So it's pushed down, came up, respected this high layer and pushed down, so created a lower low here and a lower high here. So this pulling up, becoming a new high, another lower high. I'm hoping price now pushes down to create a lower low, a new lower low, and pushes it towards this demand. So that's another way you could apply supply and demand. It's not how I prefer to do it, because often, you know, it just shoots up from here. It could just, because it's already hit demand, it could just shoot up from here. And like I said, I don't want to be a seller in a demand zone. However, I am doing that today just because of a lack of patience. You know, I normally trade for about an hour or two and then call it a day. And I've been sitting around here for an hour, so I'm losing patience now. And I've got things to do, so I want to get on with my day. So I decided to trade this quickly. Hopefully, it moves in my direction soon, and I could get on with it. I will keep an eye on this demand for later in the day. And like I said, there is news due. This is the London session. There's news due at, let's see, we've got interest rate decisions at 1:45, and I believe there's a US GDP at 2:30. That's my 2:30, obviously, and we got a important speech on the euro at 4:15. So a lot of things going on today. So I don't really want to be trading in the evening or in the afternoon. Just want to get out of this, get this move in the London session, then move on. So trying to be patient. Normally I take a move, I'm in and out of it within 5 minutes. So this is a lot longer than I prefer to be in the move, but just have to be patient now because this is potentially the only trade I'm going to take. So that's my trade breakdown for this. It's, as you can see, it's just going back and forth, and from the looks of it, it's going to stay here for a while. So I'm not going to make this video 2 hours long waiting to see if this hits TP or not. I'm just going to keep it short to show you the setup, show you what I'm seeing. And most setups you can see is 50-50. There's a reasonable argument for it to go down, and there's a reasonable argument for it to go up. So with my strategy, if I stuck to it, if I just waited here, the probability of it going up from here is a lot higher than the probability of it going down from here. Even though a lot of people like these trend continuation setups, I'm not a big fan because I've seen it go against me so many times. So I know the probability of this being bought up from this zone is a lot higher than the trend continuation. So most trades I see as 50-50 unless it's something you back tested, and I've back tested this supply and demand strategy, and I know from this demand, if I bought from this demand, the probability of it going up is in the 80s. You know, my win rate's typically in the 80s. So I've messed up a little bit, being impatient, but it is what it is. I did a lot of that yesterday and made a lot of money. So hopefully that continues today. And if it doesn't, you know, lesson learned, I go back to my strategy that works. So like I said, this is what I've seen so far. We're going to see how it plays out. And I will try update you in the next video and let you know how this one played out, and I'll keep you posted in terms of what's going on with my account. So a quick video while I wait. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you found this useful, seeing another way of applying supply and demand and another way of playing moves while you wait, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button for more videos and more updates on my progression. So that brings us to the end of the video. This is Patrick, and until next time, peace.